You're live. Oh, that's good. Okay. If anybody gets into the chat, that's amazing. But uh, today I just want to just touch base a little bit about like there are so many different paranormal investigating groups out there all over the world that they have their own um, methods, their own rules, their own ways of gathering evidence, and so on and so forth, which I think is amazing in that. But personally, uh, I always look at doing an investigation like that. There should actually be two sides to do an investigation, and that naturally you got the scientific part, which is mandatory, like um, night vision cameras, EMF meters, REM pods, EVP recorders, all those devices, and also all these new devices that they have out now. They're amazing too. Like they capture a lot of cool stuff, as well as all these new apps that you can get on your iPhone or smartphone, and that's pretty good too. You know, you, you capture a lot of cool stuff, and that. And of course, when at the location, if for instance, the owner of the building, um, complains about, noises and visuals and all that kind of stuff, naturally, you got a whole list of things to debunk. Like checking the electrics, checking plumbing, checking the integrity of the building, the structure, making sure that the foundation is structurally sound, stuff like that. Of course, naturally, because especially if there's reports of uh, furniture moving, and that it's always a good idea, and that to bring in a structural engineer and get them to see if there's any vibrations in the land, near the building, and that and if there's any roads nearby, and try and replicate. Hey, Tinker, and then try to replicate what would cause furniture to move, basically. And if you have a heavy truck or a heavy lorry, whatever, and you drive down, it causes a little bit of vibration, but not enough vibration to cause something to move, okay, then you might have something there. But if the furniture does move, when the truck goes down, naturally, more or less debunked, you know. But, it's still in the back of your mind, like how often does a truck go down the road, that kind of thing. Just throwing out the science part of it. And now, once you go through the checklist of all the debunking, and there's certain issues that you're still having a hard time debunking in that. So to me, that's when, it's always good to have a psychic medium, nearby to find out what the spiritual cause could be. Okay, because sure, it's great to have the scientific part, okay, but also to get the history of the land and history of the location, that part, in my opinion, is mandatory, because the more you know about the land, the more you know about the location, the better. Okay, at least it answers a lot of questions. Okay, but there's only so much that a historian can get, like recorded information about the land or the building, whatever, and that. There's only so much information that they can get. To me, it's good to get information about the building and such, but to me, it's even better to get the information about the people. Sure, there might be a little bit of record about the people, like what they did and why they're there and all that kind of stuff. But I like getting into the personal stories of the people. Like, sure, they lived there, they worked there, whatever, but what were they like emotionally, physically, mentally, you know, do they need help? Do they need answers? That stuff only a psychic medium could really help out with. And that. So basically, you could say that an investigation team, and that there's many specialties that go along with a good investigation. The scientific, the historical part, and then the spiritual part. And that, because the more information you can get, the more information you can get to the client, and the more you can help the spirit people there, if they need it. And that, and but I've noticed over the years, especially on TV and even on YouTube, Facebook, what have you, is there are some teams that are 100% scientific, and that's it. And hey, Nikki, hey, brother, and that. But yet there are some teams that are about 75% scientific and 25% psychic or spiritual. And there are some teams that I would say that they're 50-50. In other words, 50% scientific and 50% spiritual, psychic, involvement. And then there are some, which is very, very rare, where it's 25% scientific and 75% spiritual, which I'm not even sure the last time I even heard about that. And then this is incredibly rare, is you get a paranormal investigation team that are 100% psychic, 100% spiritual. Now, I'm not saying that that's the wrong approach, but it's good to have a little bit of everything: the scientific, the historical, and the spiritual with the psychic medium. So basically, by having all three professions and that at work in this location, can you imagine the amount of information that you can get by having all these professionals work in one location? And of course, naturally at separate times to avoid contamination. But it would be absolutely amazing. And the two teams that I can think of right now that are so good at these areas, because I know I'm part of it, is SWYPT and White Rose. They're both teams on Facebook. And that, you name the issue with the location, they try their best to get answers, whether it's debunking, whether it's helping spirit, or even when it comes to getting information about the history of the place. And that it is absolutely amazing, the information that we get. And that's why a lot of locations really like to what we do. And that is because not only do we take pride in what we do, but also we try to keep up to date with all the technologies and stuff. And we have the best teams, okay? And we got Wanda, Ellen, Tony, our demonologist, and that, which to me, especially when it comes to dealing with demons, and that, he's a very much needed brother. And when it comes to having mediums, well, we have Derek Green, and that he's an amazing psychic medium. He does card readings as well. We have my brother Nicky Still medium, and that amazing empath medium. He also does readings with cards, and that plus he has other gifts as well. This man's amazing. And then there's myself, empath medium, and that I do readings the odd time, especially if And like if it's a one-on-one, I'll do a reading if a person's really desperate. I said, well, video call me and I'll do what I can. Okay, no promises, but I'll give you what Spirit gives me. Okay. Plus, I do live streaming on YouTube and Facebook. And by the way, my next video for Facebook is on Monday, and which will be posted in the SWYPT group, and I'll try to remember White Rose. Okay, and then we also have Anne Phelps Lancaster. Okay, she's part of SWYPT. She does card readings, and we also have. I apologize, I can't remember your last name, but Joe, another amazing medium, and she's also part of the SWYPT team, and then we have our Jordan, and then Morris. He's part of our team as well. He's kind of a medium in training, but he's very good. We have Kelly, who does the administration for her father Derek when he does his one-on-one readings, and that through his group, Derek Green Second Medium, which is linked in the description below, as well as White Rose and SWYPT, linked in the description below, and if I've forgotten anybody, I apologize, but and Shell Ewells, and that another amazing sensitive. She's also an amazing psychic, and that she helps with the readings that Derek does on Saturday nights. Contact Shell or Jordan, get your names put down, request either tarot or angel card. Okay, now anyway, back to the groups. I had to get sidetracked. And that, like I said, when it comes to doing investigations and that, the more people that cover the different areas, the more answers that you'll get. But like I said, that's just my opinion on the two teams that I work with. And there's other groups that are similar to what we do, and we support them, I'll promote them. Because if there's a team that are, if they work good with other teams, and that, I'm glad to promote them. And that, just like I love to promote, I'm very proud to promote SWYPT and White Rose. And that, so, and I know that I'm pretty sure Derek and Stephanie and them are on their way to investigation now. And that, so I don't want to cut into their time. And that, but like I said, that's just from my own experiences, my own opinion about different groups. Now, when it comes to the groups that do justice scientific only, I feel bad with the spirit people because they don't get their say. Like me, I'm more worried about the spirit people than I do about the location sometimes, because they're the ones that the only way they can communicate basically is through the mediums. And that's why Derek, Nikki, and I are so blessed to have this opportunity to have this chance to link with them. And because they're basically people that they want to talk, they want to share their stories, they have a voice, they have something to say, but they're kind of stuck in a rut kind of a idea. Like don't forget, when they leave the physical body and that they lose their voice box, so they have to relearn how to communicate again, and that which takes time for them to develop that. And now that goes into a different video altogether about spirit people and communication, how they start off with, how they develop other ways to communicate. That's a different story altogether. But like I said, they have something to say, and if they're not given a chance, it should, like they are given a little bit of a chance, especially with the scientific part, where the spirit box or the EVP, okay, they do get a chance to say the odd word that pops up. Or if they use the EMF meter or some other meter, they can kind of they can kind of use the yes/no approach. But unfortunately, they can't really tell their story through a yes/no. Okay, they have to have a little conversation in order to say what's on their minds. That's why I kind of feel bad for them. And the more the mediums can get to know them, the more we can gain their trust, the more they can tell us their stories. And going to an investigation is no different. And that you spare people something to say. And I can imagine they're getting a little tired of going, yeah, no, yeah. And that would drive me cuckoo, And it's not good for their psychology either. And that, so anyway, people, that's basically I wanted to share with you today. Is just basically my opinion of how different teams work. And like I'm saying that all teams are amazing. It's just that, in my opinion, how different teams work, whether it's through scientific, historical, and spiritual, in my opinion, all three are needed. And that to get the most information, get the better results, and that. So anyway, people, like I said, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up if you liked it. But if you think there's something that could be improved, okay, I have no problem with you hitting the thumbs down. And that, let me know what I can do, what I should do. If you have any topics you'd like me to cover in the comments. Yeah, I love you too, Tinker. You're amazing. And that. And yeah, so if there's any future topics for either here or on Facebook you want me to cover, just let me know. I'll do my best to cover it. Okay? And be sure to subscribe to my channel. That way, more people will know about the stream, and more people that are into this type of thing when it comes to the paranormal, and that the more people will get, they get to learn more, and I get to learn more. And that, because don't forget, when it comes to this learning part, and that it's a two-way street. And that, and believe me, I'm learning tons. And I can't say that I know everything, because yeah, right. Yeah, I wish. Because even from Nikki, I learned a ton, and from Derek, So anyway, gotta go. Thanks for your time. Have an amazing weekend, and I'll be live streaming on Monday on Facebook with SWYPT. Okay, so until Monday, and then love and light.